Welcome to Fox College Football, powered by Ram Trucks, built to serve. And welcome to Norman, Oklahoma, as the 9th-ranked Sooners take the field, ready to go against TCU. And Oklahoma somehow at 9-1, 6-1 in the conference after the biggest comeback in program history. Horned Frogs won the toss. They'll receive, and off we go from Norman. For a catch coming to the 6, and so TCU to begin at the 25-yard line. And a false start opens the night for TCU. The right guard, Quazell White.
First out.
Yeah, speaking of moving parts, they're without and have been Lucas Niang now for a bunch of weeks. Cordell Igwagwu, the left guard, is the captain. He is the leader. He's the voice of a group that has really struggled the last 3 or 4 weeks. Tay Barbers, come on. He is the third down machine for Max Duggan.
Career day last week, had 8 catches for 137 yards in the 33-31 win against Texas Tech. They open this one with a Darius Anderson run, and he gets pummeled by Delarian Turner-Yell. And part of this Oklahoma defense kind of been a riddle this season. Really good at times, really bad at others. This group was really good in the second half last week.
In particular, Ronnie Perkins with 4 tackles for loss and 3 sacks was just unblockable down in Waco. Kenneth Murray, they just want him to cut it loose, just to take care of his responsibility. Maybe feel like he's trying to carry too much of the load. And on the back end, Parnell Motley, 5 career interceptions. Has got to find a way to take the ball away.
Opening drive, TCU, second down 15. And another flag. Another false start.
Yeah, that was the left tackle, Anthony McKinney, and there's an awful lot of movement there. Gary Patterson knows what you're up against. Alex Grinch's system, you see it all the time. Both of these fronts. Gary's front is very, very active. He does his a little more post-snap. These Sooners love to move pre-snap, and so far, 2 of the offensive linemen falling prey to it.
So second and 20. Duggan back to throw to the sideline. There's Jalen Rager, but incomplete. So third down and 20. You know, it's an Oklahoma defense. 0 in the second half last week, but gave up 31 in the first half. Game before that gave up 41 to Iowa State, 48 in the loss against Kansas State after they've made such great strides over the first month and a half or so.
Yeah, and I like the way Coach Grinch talked about it, just some scar tissue from some years of struggle. The first 7 weeks, well, they thought they got rid of a lot of those errors, but not necessarily the case the last month. Been really struggling as much from the neck up as anywhere else.
Now, you mentioned it, the message this week to his group, do your job, but only your job. He thought too many guys tried to do too much in the first half in Waco. That's hit at the line of scrimmage and incomplete. Couple of penalties ruined TCU's first drive, and the punt team comes out on 4th and 20.
I think it was Jalen Redmond here right in the middle that gets his hands up. You see the stunt, just a 3-man rush. And when you're rushing only 3 and you can't get home to get your hands up, that's exactly what Redmond does and exactly what the doctor ordered for Oklahoma with the 3 and out.
That is something that they've done pretty consistently, even with the ups and downs this season. First drive, they're now 12 for 12, stopping the opposition. It is CeeDee Lamb. Lamb makes the first man miss and brings it to the 47. Play from the 48-yard line. Kennedy Brooks with a gain of 2.
An offensive line that also has a few moving pieces. Not Creed Humphrey. He is the anchor right in the middle. He is the voice. But R.J. Proctor getting the start tonight ahead of Eric Swinson at left tackle. We saw CeeDee Lamb back there returning punts. I was curious after some of the contact he took in the game we called with Iowa State whether or not he would be back returning punts. He was. And expect number 2 to get the ball in his hands in multiple different ways.
He's the motion man here. Brooks again. Stiff arm Scott. Able to turn the corner. Bumped out by one of the 5 freshmen in this starting lineup for TCU, Wyatt Harris.
One of those that's not a freshman that is a grown man is Ross Blacklock right in the middle. Second in the Big 12 and quarterback hurries. Strength of this group defensively has been their interior play. Garrett Wallow, second in the conference in total tackles and tackles for loss. Very active middle linebacker. And Trayvon Merrick is one of my favorite safeties to watch in college football. 4 picks this year. Always finds a way to get around the football, does number 7.
It always seems like TCU, no matter the record, defense is going to be tough, led by Gary Patterson, #1 in total D in the conference. But a third down conversion against that group here. It's Lee Morris, who had 7 receptions last week. Went into the game with 8 total. Came up big with C.D. Lamb out. We look at a matchup of strength against strength when Oklahoma has the ball.
And really one of the reasons OU #1 in the country is that down right there. They're also #1. Jalen usually does it with his legs, but more than capable of spraying it around in the passing game. And if you don't get him off the field on third down, they are going to tear you apart.
First down and 10 from the 38. Brooks motions out. Hurts over the middle behind Lamb. 2nd and 10.
It was interesting in talking to Gary Patterson yesterday. He feels like this is a very different Oklahoma team he's facing offensively. Right, he's had his troubles with the Sooners as Gary, just 2-8 in his career, but really felt like Baker and Kyler last year pushed the ball down the field much more than Jalen. More than anything, he wants to get eyes on Jalen Hurts, treat him like a running back, and feel like if they can stop his run, they've got a chance to have some success defensively.
Said you can't tackle him like he's a quarterback. Got to hit him low. 15 rushes per game. He's back to throw here. He's looking long. Over the top, Rambo, but out of his reach. Had beaten Julius Lewis by a couple of steps. Couldn't connect, and it's 3rd and 10.
That's about perfect timing. I think maybe Jalen and Lincoln heard what I had to say, that Gary Patterson doesn't think he likes to push the ball down the field. He's certainly got plenty of arm strength and just a little bit too much there. You're right, he got behind the split coverage, just a little bit more air, and that would have been a touchdown.
Instead, it's 3rd and 10. Another opportunity for this TCU defense to get off the field. 10 men standing for TCU, trying to make it a tough look on Hurts, who's given time with just a 3-man rush. He's going to take off, needing the 28. Breaks the tackle and gets close. 4th and less than 2. Blacklock down there to make the stop. And it looks like the offense is going to stay on the field.
And did you see Vernon Scott reach high? I guarantee you Gary Patterson is going to try to remind those guys as much as he can against Lincoln Riley and this crew and Jalen that you've got to tackle those legs, but it's so much easier to preach and to teach than it is actually get it done.
So the Sooners will go for it. 4th and 1 here on their first possession of the night. 5 for 6 on 4th down this season. Hurts. First down. Back-to-back Hurts runs, and the Sooners able to convert after they looked at 3rd and 10.
That was a really nice job by Ramondre Stevenson. So many different facets of this offense, and I think why Lincoln has had so much success against Gary Patterson is they're interchangeable parts. Tight ends and fullbacks, personnel groups, you know, usually you get 2 tight ends on the field. You can play it a certain way, not against these Sooners. That was an excellent lead block by Stevenson.
But the true freshman Stewart on Lamb at the top of the screen. It's a run play. Brooks steps out of the tackle. He's got a first down inside the 15. Darius Washington pushes him out.
To my point,
14.
Sorry, Joe. To my point about interchangeable parts. Look at the top of the screen here. That's Jeremiah Hall. Is he a fullback? Is he a tight end? I don't know. He's blocking a true freshman defensive end one-on-one and setting that edge. You know what else you notice? 5 of the 6 plays, a little bit of motion. Lincoln Riley loves to change formations on Gary Patterson, force those defensive calls, and look at this little running back set.
Yeah, not one you're going to be used to seeing with a receiver in Charleston Rambo. As the tailback, they motion him out. On 1st and 10, Brooks again. Another couple of broken tackles before Washington brings him down.
So 6 of 7 plays, you have seen some form of motion against Darius Washington and this Horned Frog crew. And the reason you do that is because that forces the Horned Frogs to change some of their defensive calls. Make some of those late adjustments. So Gary Patterson's over there trying to defeat every single play. With every formation and every look, he signals in to his guys defensively. And that late motion forces even more communication.
2nd down. It's Hurts looking to run. Jalen Hurts lowers the shoulder, reaches for the goal line. He's in for the Oklahoma touchdown.
Cornelius Lewis, the corner, tried. He tried to tackle those legs. You're going to see 24 come in at the end of the play. He said, Coach, I went for the legs. The problem is that power lifter runs even right through that broken tackle as well. The dude just loves to run. 27 times a week ago in Waco to lead the biggest comeback in Sooner history. And he knows the threat he is, whether it's fourth down or down in the red zone. One of the most difficult runners in all of college football to bring down.
You mentioned he's a power lifter. Lincoln Riley says, yeah, he's strong. He knows he's strong, and he takes a lot of confidence from that. Gets his 14th rushing touchdown of the year there. And he moves over 1,000 yards for the season on that drive. Really a continuation of what Oklahoma did in the comeback in Waco. A long touchdown drive and an early 7-0 lead. TCU's second drive begins at the 25-yard line.
Tay Barber in the backfield.
He swings out. Duggan looks his direction, then retreats with the pocket collapsing. Can't get around Kenneth Murray. Able to drop him for a loss of 4. We talked about the message, do your job, only your job. That was pointed partially at their leader, Kenneth Murray.
And he's right in the middle. He's got eyes on Max Duggan the entire way. And Oklahoma mixed it up a little bit this week. And Alex Grinch said they were not off the practice field until they had a 3-and-out. 3 positive reps for that first string defense. Didn't matter how many it took during practice to really try to emphasize you just need 3 great snaps to get yourself off the field, and a tackle like that sure helps.
Second and long. Duggan keeps. Short gain. He slides down with Parnell Motley bearing down on him.
And Grinch has seen effort like this over the, we mentioned the first 7 weeks of the season. They played some complete defensive games. And even over the last 3 weeks, they've had stretches, like the second half in Waco last week, where it was a totally different team. And just trying to get this team to translate from Tuesday and Wednesday on the practice field, that execution they're seeing there, to get it done on game night through 4 quarters, that's a challenge here in November.
And a 3-and-out in the first drive. They've got TCU 3rd and 15 here. They bring an extra man. Duggan able to slip him momentarily, but then goes down. And Jalen Redmond, who knocked the ball down in the first drive, gets the sack here.
And that is just a perfectly timed stunt. You're going to see Redmond. He's going to track here. He's going to allow all of that traffic. It's kind of like a passing route where you run a pick play, right? And you run everybody, all that traffic, and then you get somebody free. Watch Redmond. He has all that tidal wave of just massive humanity, and then he comes and finishes and cleans it up for his 4th sack of the season.
Came here as a defensive end. He's played mostly defensive tackle, but can use him in a variety of ways up front. This punt, not a good one. Jordy Sandy takes a decent roll, though, down near the 35.
From Jalen, but both so willing to do whatever it takes. I think that's what I love about number 1 as much as anything else.
Fakes a CeeDee Lamb on the first play of the drive here. He runs again and has a hole for a first down. Yeah, we asked Lincoln Riley yesterday, had somebody told you that he would be the leading rusher by this amount, that he'd be running the ball 27 times in a game, on average 15 times a game, Lincoln would have said, I think he's going to run more than Baker Mayfield or Kyler Murray, but no way I saw this coming. 70
more attempts than anybody on the team, over 1,000 yards now. But you know what else Lincoln said at the end of that conversation? I kind of like when he runs. Even when that visor comes popping off his face mask as it did a week ago.
Boy, Baylor flies around, don't they? They hit you. Bubbled it outside. Rambo getting a block from Basquin. And getting pulled down, it looked like by his face mask. And apparently it was by the shoulder pad. Let's go down to Bruce Feldman.
Joe, about that relationship with Lincoln Riley and Jalen Hurts. In the break after the first touchdown drive, Jalen Hurts went up to Lincoln Riley and said he really felt like TCU's edge rushers were susceptible to some fakes, and it looked like Lincoln Riley listened, and that was the first thing we saw on this drive to open it up.
Lincoln Riley told Jalen Hurts a few weeks ago, look, I don't have 3 years to get to know you. You got to communicate with me. You've got to be open so I can understand you. And more he is. Being open with his head coach. Hands it off here. Kennedy Brooks, first down and more. All the way to the 36 on a gain of 14.
And you become the #1 offense in America year after year after year, as Lincoln has, because you utilize the different tools, right? And the different roles that guys have. And if you want to come out and run the ball like this, fine. And I think that's where Jalen is such a great fit. He started 38 games, and he doesn't really care. He's not just trying to impress the NFL. He's just trying to win and dominate. And if it means run for 150-plus yards a game, fine.
Hurts keeps it again with a pump fake, gets free, cuts it against the grain, slides his way to the 20. 18 more for Jalen Hurts.
How many times do we need to see that move? This is Ben Wilson, the middle linebacker with the long hair, and just a crossover. Right? And another crossover. And you could talk all you want about wanting to tackle this guy like a running back, but you can't even lay a hand on him. That being both Wilson, the linebacker, and even Merrick, the safety, both of them left reaching for air.
Pump fake works every time. You could have even gotten free with a pump fake. No, maybe pushing it. First down from the 20. Looking to throw this time. Eyes on the end zone. He goes for Braden Willis. First down and goal, Oklahoma. Oh, he's in. They say that he broke the plane for the touchdown.
Just a corner route and a big old tight end. Wow. His first career touchdown pass a week ago. Goes up on the senior corner, and Jalen puts it in the exact right spot. There's no body part down. That's touchdown. Wow.
Now 8 catches on the season for Braden Willis, 2 of them for touchdowns. You mentioned the first of his career last week, tied the game, completed that comeback against Baylor. The game they once trailed 28-3. They've continued the momentum that they gathered. You asked the question, what's the energy going to be like? Is there going to be a letdown from exerting so much, or do you build off of it? So far, you've gotten your answer.
Yeah, very much the latter.
Burkett still perfect this season on all point afters and field goals, and it's 14-0 just like that.
It's also called getting all your different pieces involved, and I think the Sooners did a wonderful job of that tonight.
Whole lot better start in the hole they found themselves in against Waco last week. As we check TCU trying to find something offensively. 6 plays minus 10 and a couple of penalties on the option. Duggan keeps it and gets a nice gain. The ball comes out, but he was down. There is a flag down at the 30.
Ruling on the field as the runner was down prior to losing the ball during the play. Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 51. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. It's first down.
This is about as ugly as it gets. His first quarter of offense for TCU.
Yeah, it's Quazell White, and I talked about this offensive line with some moving parts. Quazell started week 1 at left tackle, started last week at right guard. He's just a true sophomore. But really, once Gary Patterson lost Lucas Niang, he lost his best lineman. And from that point, over just the last 3 weeks, 11 sacks, 19 hurries, and just discombobulated up front.
A lot of pre-snap movement up front, per usual from Oklahoma. First down, 15. Duggan delivers to the short side for Rager, but it's incomplete with the coverage from Parnell Motley. Take a look at the one to watch, sponsored by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. Rager, the headliner in terms of the receivers, but Tate Barber, who missed most of the first 5 games of the hamstring injury, really has started to come on since he's gotten healthy.
You can just feel the trust that Max Duggan has in him, especially on third downs. But the problem is the third downs have not been anywhere near manageable, and if they don't get anything here on this second down, they'll be staring down the same thing. Not able to utilize his talents.
Barber's the motion man on 2nd and 15. With a deep drop, Duggan looks to set up the screen, and Kenneth Murray identifies and explodes.
Wow. Yeah, your left tackle, Cordell Wagwu, and Anthony McKinney. This is a 2-on-1, and you're going to see Murray, to your point, Joe, diagnose it. He watches those linemen get out, but here's the key, splitting those two right there.
If you block him, that's a huge gain.
Huge. And that is to Alex Grinch's point. Do your job, only your job, and then the final part of that messaging, cut it loose.
Yeah,
exactly.
and it's
Right
third
there.
and a mile again, 3rd and 17 for the Horned Frogs. A twist up front, able to flush Duggan again, throws on the move to Valence Hunt, but needed a whole lot more than that. Kenneth Murray guided him out of bounds, and another 3 and out.
Wow. This is a group on the season, just 35 3 and outs through 10 games, about 3.5 a game. And for Sonny Cumbie, he knows you just can't play uphill in this building. You got no chance. Very little the true freshman could do in that situation. The block in the back, 2 linemen that allow a linebacker to split right between them. And you live in 3rd and 10 plus against the speed of this group defensively, you're going to be in trouble.
Third punt for Jordy Sandy, 26-year-old freshman from Australia. His best one of the night. Backs Lamb inside the 20.
The eyes that are on him can't get any read.
Bunch of pre-snap movement again for Lincoln Riley's group. Over the middle, there is Charleston Rambo for an Oklahoma first down. Down to Bruce Feldman.
Joe, Brock's talking about mixing things up with the signals. The thing that's getting mixed up is these young TCU defenders. Their heads are spinning right now, being down on their sideline. They struggle with pre-snap movement really all season, but even more so tonight. It's just like right now, they're really struggling with the signals, and they just don't seem like they have a real handle on what Gary's looking for right now.
Well, they're so hard, Bruce, because the personnel changes, the movement, the formation changes. I mean, you're talking about high-level stuff that Oklahoma, again, look at that motion.
Brooks slips through. First down near midfield.
And what is every D coordinator? What was the third messaging for Alex Grinch to cut it loose? Every D coordinator, and Gary Patterson's been doing it a long time, wants his guys to just react and to cut it loose and let it go. But when you're out there and you're thinking and you're trying to process, and you have 5 freshmen and redshirt freshmen playing on that side of the ball, and you're a step slow against these guys, you got no chance.
And you understand why he's changing the signs if he thinks that they've been compromised. But at the same time, doesn't that probably add a whole nother layer to what you got to think about? With this group that has 5 freshman starters, Hurts off play action. Rolls out of the pocket as a man coming loose and finds him. Charleston Rambo inside the 20. 34 yards, 1st and 10, flags at the end of the play.
Yeah, this is looking like September Sooners right now, isn't it?
Yeah, non-conference play against South Dakota.
UCLA. I think it's going to be on CeeDee Lamb.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block. Offense number 2, 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. After enforcement, it'll be 1st and 10.
And this is one of the things they're trying to take out those blindside hits. Not been as prominent this season as maybe I anticipated. I think coaches anticipated. That was good back in the day. That was clean. That was shoulder in front. But that's not good in this day anymore, and they're going to call that appropriately.
Have to get their arms extended at this point for it not to be illegal when he doesn't see you coming.
That first contact, you're right, has got to be with the hands.
Moves it back to the 30. They get Rambo in the backfield. They motion him out. Hurts. And it's driven down to the 25 by our Darius Washington.
And there's the textbook tackle that the coach from Fort Worth wanted to see on Jalen Hurts. Get to those legs. Try to stop him before he can ever run you over.
First quarter comes to a close. Oklahoma outgaining TCU 184-3 and leading 14-0 as we go to the second on Fox. A dominant first quarter for Oklahoma. We talk about them needing to play a complete game in terms of 4 quarters. How about a complete game in terms of offense and defense? Well, in that first quarter, they limit TCU to just 3 yards. Open the second with a 2nd and 4 run. Kennedy Brooks, another first down.
Well, it's about average, another 9 yards. And you saw the number there. leading the country 8.8. That would be a new record in the history of college football. A season ago, Kyler Murray and crew set it at 8.6 yards a play. You've seen it kind of come down and get awfully close, about 8.8 coming into tonight, and just a dominant first 15 minutes.
Again, it's Brooks. Got around Ben Wilson. Keon Stewart, true freshman, making the start with Jeff Gladney not in there. Some post-play pushing. Jaden Hazelwood in there, along with a few others. It'll be second down.
Surprised not to see a penalty flag come out here. A little shoving with Ardarius Washington at the end of the play. And a wholesale commitment to this run game for the Sooners. You see the two mix it up, and Jaden throws a little, I guess he just maybe trying to get the hands off. So one of the challenges for TCU tonight is this offense had its way with the Horned Frogs when they've had elite edge defenders. And right now, the redshirt freshman, the true freshman, the junior college transfer, that edge of the defense is just being decimated by the Sooners.
Hurts swings it to Rambo, looking for the corner. He's inside the 5, and it's first and goal for Oklahoma. They graduated to the NFL, Ben Banigou, L.J. Collier, and there's been a big drop-off in terms of production from that defensive end spot.
Huge. And this is a crew that really relies on those 4 guys, so the other 7, Gary can move around and shuffle around and play all sorts of different coverages, but if you can't set the edge and you don't get home, that's a bad combination against Jalen Hurts. And right now, he is, after a week where he took a ton of punishment against Baylor, he's hardly been touched tonight.
He's already run for 54 yards. He's thrown for 87. Here on first and goal. He fakes it and zips a slant behind Lamb. He had him for a touchdown, but missed him. Lamb had beaten Keon Stewart.
And CD's like, come on, man. I missed last week. I didn't get anything. I didn't get my 14th touchdown. So a little play action. It really doesn't get much easier than that, other than the hands that you have to navigate on that throw. But CD's like, come on, man. I want my touches and my touchdowns too.
It's 13 touchdowns, most in Power 5, second overall in the country for the junior from Richmond, Texas. Oklahoma going to use a
first charge timeout. TCU timeout on the field.
With a timeout, actually.
Offensive line that was a finalist for the Joe Moore Award is one of the best in the country, actually looking like it right now.
On second and goal to the end zone. This time they do connect. CeeDee Lamb, his 14th touchdown of the year.
Yeah, that's just not fair. That's one of the country's best wide receivers against a true freshman. Keon Stewart is playing because Jeff Gladney has been suspended for the first half via targeting call last week. Too much space, too much cushion, and too good a connection between Jalen and CD. That's almost a little smile on Lincoln Riley's face right now.
You blame him?
Nope, he likes us. He likes going up against Gary. Really feels like it tests him, brings out his best. He's brought out his offense's best here early.
Looking a whole lot more like the second half version of the Sooners in Waco last week. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns, 21-0. The 9th-ranked Sooners up big.
Freshman, redshirt freshman right now that are just spinning.
Just as dominant on the other side. Hoping to keep the pedal down with a 21-0 lead. Fake to Barber. Darius Anderson. 2nd and 8.
Yeah, I think really the emphasis, that guy up in New England, I think he trademarked do your job. I think Mr. Belichick's got that one. But Alex Grinch really felt like he had to add to it. Not just do your job, only your job. And really that emphasis to get that kind of singular focus out of each and every one of these guys defensively.
Pressure coming. Duggan hit as he throws by Deshaun White. And it's 3rd down.
And how many times have we seen this Max Duggan getting hit in the lack of communication up front? I really don't know what Anthony McKinney there is doing. He's fanning out to protect off the edge while an inside rusher comes totally free. And again, that's two seniors on the left side of the line. You can never do that. You got to protect from the inside out.
There were only 4 rushers on that play. It's the TCU offensive line since Lucas Niang went out. 11 sacks allowed in 3 games. On 3rd and 8, option into the short side. Duggan pitches. Alana Lua tripped up by Trey Brown. And so TCU manages its first down of the night, but nothing else.
That's a really good job by the undersized corner coming off the block. Number 1, defeat your man. And that's Aldontre Davis, one of the better blocking receivers. You got to defeat your man and then go finish the tackle. That's well done. This is what Alex Grange said the practice field on Tuesday often looks like. It just hasn't translated to Saturday nights.
Short one from Sandy. Oklahoma has it again after this. 11:03 left to go in this first half. All Oklahoma. Touchdowns on all 3 drives so far. Kenny DeBrook short gain. Yeah, we check in with Bruce.
Joe, we've done a lot of TCU games over the year. The chatter down here on the sideline is they've never quite seen this group at any point this confused and this unsure of what they're doing and what Gary Patterson wants. And it's going to be a question, will he scrap this and go back to his old signals? But right now, I mean, Jalen Hurts is tough enough to deal with when you know what you're supposed to be doing. Right now, these guys, their heads are spinning.
On 2nd and 9, Hurts looking over the top. Wants Lee Morris, incomplete. 3rd and 9. What do you think?
Well, then I think ultimately it's one of 2 things. You scrap the signal system because it's not working, or number 2, you simplify. And you just say like that, okay, if we've got to just play quarters coverage, right, and not do some of the different adjustments and just try to simplify as much as you can. So actually the strength of your group, which should be your interior D-line, and those guys can get it going.
And look, it is a big part of the brilliance of Gary Patterson, the way that kind of a mad scientist that he manages the game from a defensive side. But you wonder, with all the things working against the group, if it could work against him in this situation. They're down in 9. Hurts has all day, but the coverage downfield sharp. Trying to keep it alive. He will loft it out of bounds, and the Horned Frogs finally force a punt.
Yeah, pretty good zone coverage there. You just rush 3. You make Jalen Hurts think, and one of the big differences, it was actually 3rd and 9. Right, if you can get, and we saw it here with Iowa State in that second half, if you can get them into a real pass-first mindset and a pass-only and take away that run threat, you got an opportunity to get them off the field.
Reeves Munchau out to punt for the first time. Jalen Reagor, dangerous return man. Good hang time and a fair catch.
Cumby told us that. If you really felt like just running vertically, not horizontally, would be best case. Got to get back to it.
Again, they run outside. Duggan has a seam this time and has a first down and then some. Breaking into the clear, showing off the speed, and Duggan is inside the 10. Pat Fields tracks him down after a 59-yard run.
Well, I was half right. Artavius Lynn, 88. Watch him here get out and set the block. That was the positive, and I guess it was a little north and south about right there. When Max Duggan just turns on the Jets, man, this kid can go. As you see Caleb Kelly, 19, he's in the game there, playing a little linebacker for the first time this season. But Max Duggan has shown you over the course of the second half of this season, he is the one that should be nicknamed Jets. Yeah, this should be. I'm surprised I didn't see a little horse collar. I guess they deemed that action didn't directly pull him down. Otherwise, you'd have seen that penalty.
And Fields comes out of the game, looks like injured. TCU had moved the ball past its own 40 prior to that play. Now they've got it 1st and goal at the Oklahoma 6.
A little check with me here for Duggan at the line of scrimmage.
Lynn still in there, tight end. Anderson a running back. On 1st and goal, it is Darius Anderson. He reaches and gets bumped out of bounds at the 1. That is Caleb Kelly, who you mentioned a moment ago, making his season debut. Injured his knee in the spring. Guy that's been a starter in 3 seasons at Oklahoma. It was a big loss for them in the spring, but he worked his way back and played with that 4-game rule, redshirt rule. Still can preserve it. But making the debut tonight. Second and goal from the 1. They bring the 240-pounder Alana Lua into the Wildcat. Here he comes. He's in. Touchdown, Horned Frogs.
The touchdown drive.
At 17 yards on 14 plays prior to this drive. They go 68 yards in 3.
240 pounds.
He's on Bruce's freaks list. He squats 770, benches a couple of Brock. Bouncing kick taken by Trey Brown. Brown gets pulled down by Nook Bradford at the 23.
The elite offenses typically do.
Ramondre Stevenson, the first-year JUCO transfer, dragging Garrett Wallow for a first down. Bruce, how's the Heisman race shaping up in your eyes?
For me, I got Joe Burrow as a clear #1. What he has done with the LSU offense has been shocking, considering how dismal they've been on that side of the ball. For me, I got Jalen Hurts #2. Obviously, the offensive efficiency numbers here have been really impressive. The wild card, Chase Young, back after the 2-game suspension, has been dominant. He's the best player in the country in my eyes. But can a defensive lineman actually win it, especially one who was suspended for 2 games? If he goes off next week at Michigan and then in the Big Ten title game, we'll see. He's going to get to New York, I think, at least to be a Heisman finalist, though.
Nothing for Stevenson there. Second down. You are a voter too, Brock.
Yeah.
What do you think?
If he wrecks games like Chase did today, if he does it in the big game next week and then ultimately in the Big Ten title game, I mean, he just single-handedly can't be blocked.
Second down. Hurts under pressure, getting chased by Colt Ellison, who couldn't get there, and he turns it into a first down.
It's a couple times now tonight, Joe. This is a little bit different, and I like it. The Jalen's just getting out of bounds. Now, that visor popped off in one of the most violent collisions you're going to see last week. One of his 27 rushes that, I mean, he was taking on 1, 2, 3 Baylor Bears. Right there's 15 yards, get out of bounds. You know, instead of running back into some of that contact, he slid tonight. He's protecting his body. I think a wise move here in late November.
The old Blue Collar Comedy Tour line, here's your sign. If your visor pops off, here's your sign. You should probably start getting out of bounds more. Stevenson again, running hard. Ramondre Stevenson getting more and more time with Trey Sermon lost for the season. This is a guy who ran for more than 2,000 yards at the junior college level last year. Models his game after Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, he is 236 pounds. That if you get started, as you've seen on this drive, you're not going to stop him. Look at that rush per average. Nuts.
Right about where Oklahoma is as a team per play. Jaden Hazelwood, the #1 wide receiver committed in the country, lost the football, and TCU's got it. Trayvon Merrick forced the fumble, and Vernon Scott recovered it. That is vice versa, the combination that ended the game against Texas Tech last week.
Trayvon Merrick, I talked to you in the open, 4 picks. But that doesn't tell us. Right back in this game will TCU if they can find 7.
You see the Horned Frogs are having a hard time taking the ball away early on this season, but they've really turned it up in that regard the last month. Duggan back to throw on first down. Slides into the pocket and wanted Rager deep. A flag flies. They're going to get Parnell Motley, who's trying to defend Rager one-on-one.
Yeah, and that is an obvious pass interference here.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense #11, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Yeah, and the only judgment there is the ball was still in Duggan's hands when this goes down, and this is a smart play by Motley. He's got no help behind him, and Rager, one of the fastest TCU player, got a touchdown against the Red Raiders on that exact post route, and the senior, he'll take the holding call instead of the touchdown over his head.
A touchdown last week, longest play of the season through the air for TCU, 55 yards. Duggan looked to throw, now he'll run. He breaks into open space and has a first down sliding across the 35.
This kid is fast, man. And, you know, we talk about them freshmen on the TCU side defensively pulling the trigger to play fast, and I like this tempo, too. As they're going to come right back to the line of scrimmage. Sonny Cumbie's got a speedster quarterback.
He's got surveillance. Hunt juggled and caught it. Got a first down inside the 20. So here come the Horned Frogs. 18 more to the sophomore Hunt.
And it really has been Duggan's speed and tempo. And then this, not an easy catch. Caught about 7 different times to Mr. Hunt before he finally corrals it.
I'll pad the stats. A few rebounds. Yeah.
And I like the mix of tempo. Something that Sonny Cumbie said he was going to do. Times get right up to the line of scrimmage. Other times huddle up, make sure everyone, especially in the red zone, an area of struggle for TCU, is on the same page.
Yeah, just 2 of 6 last week, turning red zone trips into touchdowns. First down from the 19. It is Duggan. He's got room again. He slides again. He'll be spotted with the slide began, so it's a gain of 6.
Once again, Kenneth Murray that time a little over pursuant for Alex Grinch's defense. A very active crew, man. They love to fly around. And if you can do what TCU has done on the last couple drives, and that's get them going one way, you have an opportunity with a kid like Duggan with his quickness to take advantage on the backside.
You know, Oklahoma fans and fans across the country are saying, here they go again.
Yep.
Play clock winding down. Second down 5. They just get it off. Olanalua cutting to the outside, shedding a tackler and getting close to a first down. They do spot him with enough. First and goal, TCU.
I'll tell you what else this does. A little bit to Bruce Feldman's report about that defense on the other side. Now Alex Grinch's crew is on their heels, and Gary Patterson's Horned Frogs can gather themselves. Right after 3 drives and giving up 3 touchdowns, they get the 3 and out. They get the takeaway. Offense first and goal inside the 10.
Anderson. Stopped by Motley. Second and goal. This is a 21-0 game. Sonny Cumbie's team hadn't gotten a first. And then Max Duggan breaks off that 59-yard run. They score 2 plays later. They force the turnover, and they're knocking on the door again with the score.
And watch QB draw. They really wanted to use Max legs down in the red zone. Felt like that could be a factor tonight.
He looks to throw. He's got an open man, but couldn't hang on. Artavius Lynn scored his first career touchdown last week. Should have had a second here.
Yeah, and this was a fastball, and it's going to come fast down in the red zone. A really good route. You see the rub concept there. Duggan has to throw it high. Kenneth Murray's right in the passing lane right there. And that's one you'd sure love to see the big tight end be able to go down and corral. I love that encouragement. Sonny probably telling him, I'm going to come back to you at some point in this game.
Third and goal after the drop. Only a 3-man rush. Duggan scrambling to his right. Across his body into a tight window. Incomplete. Looking for Pro Wells. Tried to thread it through there. Couldn't quite get it to Wells. And 4th and goal coming up. Field goal team coming out.
Exhale for Alex Grinch. I think exhale for Sonny Cumbie and Gary Patterson as well, because that was danger zone. Anytime the field shrinks like that, and Pat Fields has a chance as Max throws it back across his body. It's amazing what a dual threat quarterback can do, right? To just energize and breathe life into your offense.
Jonathan Song. We've got 2 really good kickers in this game between Burkich and Song.
Just your competitiveness and your ability to run and create. This offense needs it. And it's been a difference as you see the total yards.
Squibbit, Braden Willis brings it back to the 34. got turned around there. Some miscommunication, and he settles for 1.
Yeah, he was expecting Kennedy Brooks to come behind him. Brooks went in front on that pirouette. And that's advantage Gary Patterson and the Horned Frogs. They want to make this a one-dimensional game as much as possible. Gary really felt, maybe more than anybody that we've heard talk about Oklahoma, he really felt like they were different, that they don't want to push the ball down the field, that they want to run it first. And if they can get him in predictable passing downs, it would be a huge advantage for them over the course of the game.
He's also brought cunning on the fact that they were so much different than anything Oklahoma had seen, and obviously what they do is unique, but simply the fact that they are a 4-down team. The only other 4-down team that Oklahoma's seen in the Big 12 is Kansas State, and that, of course, is their 1 loss. Here's Hurts, and into the arms of B. Winters, and it's 3rd down. Inside 2 minutes. Gary Patterson, knowing how quickly Oklahoma can strike, hangs on to those 2 timeouts.
Look at Gary. He is on that field.
It's 30 degrees and he's sweating his tail off.
And he's a 12th defender about every single time out on that field, communicating all the way to and sometimes through the snap.
Big 3rd down for Oklahoma. Hurts underneath. That is Rambo hanging on for an Oklahoma 1st down. Already the 5th catch for Charleston Rambo.
Again, that is on the true freshman Stewart that sees it, but there was just too much cushion. They will get Jeff Gladney back to begin the 2nd half. I think a huge key in this game and a comfort level for sure. But the true freshman there unable to just break that pass up.
Hurts hit in the backfield and dropped by a true freshman from Texas and Nook Bradford, who they think has a huge future ahead of him.
He's their little dime defender, so a little bit of a dime package here on this 2-minute drive. And you've seen a couple sure tackles. D. Winters gets to the body of Jalen Hurts. Nook has given up about 30-40 pounds, but once again, he is secure, not reaching, running right through Jalen to bring him down.
Coming up at the half, stay tuned. Mike Hill, Dave Lonstadt, the State Farm halftime show. Take it back at that the Ohio State-Penn State game. Baylor and Texas facing off today, and Alabama rolls without Tua.
I'll raise my hand as a guy that just enjoyed seeing Ohio State tested. And Ryan Day said post-game, Jenny Taft there on the field, like, hey, we knew we were going to see some adversity. They would have loved to have been cleaner. As you see Ross Blacklock, this is the junior D tackle, their best defense player up front, out right now. But Ryan saying, hey, it was good to get tested. Good to taste a little adversity in your own place and to see them respond. And certainly Chase Young taking that game over in the end.
Figure another test coming next week on Fox against Michigan, and the week after that also on Fox in the Big Ten Championship. 2nd down 13. Hurts given all day. Heaving one from Morris, but incomplete. Good coverage, Vernon Scott. 3rd and 13.
And they found a little something here, just rushing 3 defenders. It's a couple possessions now where you've seen 8 of those defenders drop into coverage and just giving Jalen all the time in the world. But he and Lincoln right now not finding an open weapon in space.
Simpler.
Yes.
A very young group, young, inexperienced group. It was that to begin with, and then the injuries they're dealing with. Gladney not playing because of the targeting. Trying to survive this 1st half. 3rd down 13. Hurts looking to run. He's in trouble and dropped again. Garrett Wallow makes it 4th and long, and Gary Patterson will use his 2nd timeout. Munchau's 2nd punt. Good. Hang time again. Rager, a weapon as a return man, not going to have a shot. Fair catch at the 14 after the 40. His freshman quarterback to be here. 35 seconds. Hands it off to Shewa Olanalua. And Olanalua gets 7 or 8. Stop made by Delirian Turner Yell. Again, Oklahoma will have the ball to begin the 2nd half. And I think Gary Patterson content. Looking and saying, hey, this is looking like it was going to get ugly. We got to within 2 scores. Let's not endanger that. So Oklahoma can clinch a spot in the Big 12 championship against Baylor with a win tonight. Still clinging to their college football playoff hopes. Dominant in the first quarter. Second quarter, though, is all TCU, which tries to reach bowl eligibility and tries to pull off a big come-from-behind win tonight. Get you to Mike Hill and Dave Wannstedt in Los Angeles for the State Farm halftime show.
It's in the ground. Played at just a much more fundamental second quarter.
A hooking line drive of a kick. TJ Pledger with a good return across the 40. Down to Brewer play. Second half begins with a Kennedy Brooks run that is shut down promptly by our Darius Washington, who's playing a good game for TCU. Now gets a buddy back in the secondary. Most experienced player on this TCU roster, Jeff Gladney, who was ejected for targeting in the second half last week against Texas Tech.
And you have to imagine he can't wait to get back on the field. It looks like he's not following CeeDee Lamb. But I will be curious as the second half evolves how much they find a way to match talent for talent with two of the best at their positions.
Hurts looking to throw for the first time in this half. Pressured from behind. Slips the first man. Checks it down. Brooks drops it. And it's 3rd and 10.
It's interesting, Joe. I just got done telling you, just find a way for Jalen to get the ball out of your hands. So first down run goes for nothing. Advantage TCU. Right now you want to make them one-dimensional. And, the Horned Frogs started to drop 8, something we saw the Cyclones do. And I think for Lincoln Riley, just getting Jalen into that rhythm. In the second half against Baylor last week, that ball was out of his hand. He's finding completions. To me, that's many times the elixir, especially when his game gets a little bit out of rhythm.
It's over 70% on the season, just above 50% so far in this one. In rhythm here, he has CeeDee Lamb for a first down. Second catch for Lamb is a gain of 11 into TCU territory.
And that's pretty easy, right? You're going to see him right in the middle. The Horned Frogs do drop 8, but you can't have that kind of cushion. I mean, you got to know where the sticks are there defensively a little bit. And that's exactly the kind of throw. Man, that is a quarterback's best friend. Space in the pocket, nobody in the throwing lane, about as easy as it gets to complete and convert a 3rd and 10.
For Jalen Hurts, Brock, not just #1 in the country in passing efficiency, #1 in college football history in passing efficiency. Brooks again hit in the backfield. D. Winters, get credit for the tackle along with Vernon Scott.
It's a nice job. You've called D. Winters' name a couple different times. Number 13 there for TCU. He's a converted wide receiver. I mean, he was really an all-conference receiver. He's only 190 pounds that's having to play there amidst a lot of big boys for Oklahoma. But if you're quicker and you play downhill, you got an opportunity to find those tackles.
Out of tiny Burton, Texas. Gary Patterson loves converting those skill guys to linebacker. Hurts out the back door, finds an opening, and gets tripped up by Winters again. And if Winters didn't get him, that was going to be a big gainer for Hurts. Instead, it's 3rd and short.
That's a cool little wrinkle right there, too. Right, see the pulling guards in front. And Jalen Hurts, like he's done all season long, man, he gets going north and south in a hurry.
Sooners converted 3rd and 10 already on this drive. On 3rd and short, to look to throw. Steps up, lofts it down the field for Lamb, and incomplete. He had beaten Gladney. We've seen Hurts miss a few downfield shots today. It's 4th and 3.
Yeah, and similarly here, I mean, this is exactly what you want. This is your best player. There's good on good. But what you need to do here is just put air on the ball. I mean, you throw that anywhere but overthrow CeeDee. He's going to go get it for you. He's going to fight through contact. That's just, you're just not giving your weapon an opportunity to make you look good.
Converted 3rd down earlier tonight. They've converted 6 or 4th down earlier tonight. They've converted 6 of 7 4th down opportunities this year.
Trying to be too fine. Just allow your difference makers to help you.
TCU clearly thinking pass here. Only 4 in the box. Hurts scanning the field. Slips and falls, and TCU will take over in Oklahoma territory. They went 3 and out on each of their first 4 possessions, then averaged 10 yards per play and pulling back into the game.
Yeah, number 15 had a lot to do with that. As he started to utilize one of his great gifts, and that's his quickness and speed.
Ran for 81 yards in that first half as TCU scored on each of its last 2 legitimate possessions. Clock ran out after a couple plays on their final one. Looking to throw on first down, and on the slant, it's behind Jalen Reagor, who's still searching for his first catch tonight.
One of the things I love, sorry, Joe, is look at Gary Patterson here. This is a fourth down play. And unlike the other ones where he just dropped 3, he's going to bring 4. But in so doing, you tell me where Jalen could go with this ball. There is nobody. That is Gary Patterson to a T defeating your play. Feeling like his personnel, his defensive call, mano a mano with that coordinator on the other side, advantage Gary Patterson on that critical fourth down.
Back-to-back pass plays to open the half. Duggan stands in for a moment. Now flush down the sideline. Back shoulder for Darius Anderson, and he brings it in for a first down.
Yeah. I think he has control. I think that's good in the NFL as he toe-tapped even that right foot in bounds here.
I don't know. I think there's a juggle here, but does he recapture it?
I think he does while he's dragging that right toe. And those are just the little plays that Max Duggan makes that most true freshmen don't. Keeping plays alive.
They let it go. Duggan steps up. He wants Barber. End zone, lays out. Incomplete. Working against the safety Fields.
Boy, I think Tay just loses his feet at the very end here. Otherwise, this is his first touchdown of the year. I mean, he's done a lot of things remarkably well. Third down conversions, big plays. His legs, he just loses them at the very tail end. And Duggan thought for sure when he let that ball go, it was 6.
Yeah, one of the many things he's done, like he said, he's done so many things, but he's made acrobatic catches in his few games since getting healthy.
I always tell you to run through that reception, and I think his legs just ran out of gas.
Here's Duggan to run. It's a block in front. It's written down from behind by Kenneth Murray, but sets up a very manageable third down, which is something that they didn't visit over the first quarter of this game at all.
And I promise you, the senior Kenneth Murray is going, man, this dude is fast. Like, I've watched the tape of him, and he's busting angles and busting ankles on the other side. But until you play it, you just don't know the game speed. I mean, 40 speed is one thing, and this guy is a workout warrior, but he plays just as fast with the pads on, if not faster.
You've been able to tell watching some of the angles look so poor from Oklahoma. 3rd and 3 for TCU, one of the best third down teams in the country this year. 0 for 5 so far tonight. It's a trick play in the hands of Jalen Reagor. Reagor with room. He's got a first down inside the 20 and close to the 10. Still looking for his first catch of the game, so they're finding other ways to get his speed involved.
And who sets the edge? The true freshman quarterback on the defensive end, Ronnie Perkins, right there. That block, again, enables Reagor with that elite speed to just break that angle of Kenneth Murray. Quarterbacks love that, by the way. Get an opportunity to do that on tape. Sonny Cumbie, former quarterback, he knows it. This kid from Iowa is rock solid tough, coming back, peeling back on the defensive ends.
Spotted it just outside the 10, so they can get a first down here. 1st and 10 from the 11. Seen a bunch of speed option tonight. It's Duggan again, fighting his way near the goal line. Still fighting. They push him. He's in. What do we have here? The Horned Frogs charging back to within a score. He gets his 6th rushing touchdown of the season.
There's something about playing a superstar on can go, and right now they can catch Max Duggan.
TJ Pledger returned it across the 40 to open the half. Another good return here, stumbling his way to the 35 in each of the last few games. Drive begins with a Kennedy Brooks run and a gaping hole off the left side for a big play that sends him into Horned Frog territory. Brooks for 32 yards, his longest rush tonight.
Well, there is the big back, Ramondre Stevenson, acting as the fullback, 29. Look at him leading the way there in the big fellas. Your left guard, your left tackle, Proctor and Hayes, just get a body on a body. And if you let these Sooners get to some green grass, they're going to do some damage.
Brooks moves over 100 yards against TCU, team that he had a huge game against last year in Fort Worth. Stevenson, who was the lead blocker last time, takes the fake here, and Ardarius Washington drops Hurts.
Darius had a nice game. And he's playing because of Ennis Gaines' injury has slid Vernon Scott over a little more in that nickel role. And Darius, saw him in the elevator. He's 175 pounds. He is not a big horn frog. He's got a big heart. And he's willing to stick his head in there.
Freshman from Shreveport, third consecutive start because of those injuries you're talking about. On 2nd and 11, Hurts to run again. Got a block from Brooks to swing him free for a first down inside the 20. Winters brings him down after 19.
Yeah, that's been the difference on a couple of these runs. It's not just toting the ball. You're going to be a lead back sometimes, and that's exactly what Kennedy Brooks is. He takes the fake, and then he's really the fullback leading the way here for the tailback, and Hurts. Been a little bit of an adjustment on this drive, right? That chess match, that back and forth between Lincoln and Gary. That X's and O's battle, a bunch of the two-back, been pretty successful here on this possession for the Sooners.
So they stick with it. Stevenson and Brooks both in there. They got Rambo back there as well, motioning him out. Here comes Brooks. Chopped down by Nook Bradford. When we talk about the lapses, you know, overall, this is one of the best offenses in the country. But you look at the last 3 games where the defense has struggled. Well, the offense has had long stretches in each of those 3 games where they've disappeared. Second and third quarters, no touchdowns against Kansas State. 7 points in the second half against Iowa State. And then no touchdowns over the first 25 minutes against Baylor last week. This week, touchdowns on each of the first 3 drives, looking for their first one since. They've got it 1st and goal with another Hurts run.
Well, we know one thing. When their backs are against the wall, what do they typically like to go to? It is this. I mean, this is just triple option football, right? You just got a couple backs in the backfield. You're motioning some people out. You're leading with your backs. And that is the talent, I think, of Lincoln Riley in the depth and the volume of that playbook. If it's going to be a spread it out game and pitch and catch, that's fine. If you got to get back to it when your back's against the wall and just run right at you, capable of doing that too.
And I said 1st and goal, Brock, but they actually spot him but a foot short. So this is 3rd and less than 1. Hurts again. This time he's got a first down. Charging for the goal line. Showing off some strength of his own. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Ball came out, but after he broke the plane. We got 2 quarterbacks that are really strong. Couple Popeyes at quarterback.
You sure do. And watch 56, Creed Humphrey right here. He's going to see Jalen Hurts. And that whole push thing, right? It may have been illegal years ago or controversial. Not anymore, man. You have the opportunity to come to the aid of your teammate, and you give Jalen Hurts any kind of assist. Touchdown. And that's number 4 now on the night for Jalen Hurts, which is pretty close to a season average.
You said when they start to feel like they need something, that is what they do. 6 plays, 66 yards, all on the ground. They pound away and get the lead back to 2 scores here in the 3rd.
I'm on a new level.
But never hit that mark on the season.
Right. Chiro Alamalua elects to bring this one back. As big of a kick returner as you're ever going to see. Rumbling his way to the 35, out to the 37. Well, Max Duggan, nothing doing over the first 4 drives. They were all 3 and outs. He ignited things with a long run on this option play, and he's had it going since.
Yeah, this was the huge one. And credit Sonny Cumbie to stick with some of that speed option. He's done this all season. He and Hurts are 1-2 in the Big 12 on 3rd down. A bunch of that creativity. And this is just flat out outrunning the leverage. Right, you have 2 Sooners there that are unblocked, and they can't outflank the freshman Duggan, who also shows you a little power to finish that touchdown run.
Got these 3 scores without anything from Darius Anderson, who took the fake as Tate Barber took the sweep into the arms of Nick Bonito.
This is some of the bind that I think Alex Grinch finds himself in defensively for Oklahoma, because they're undersized. The longer he stays here, you're going to see bigger and longer Sooner defenders. There's simply no question about it. But being undersized and wanting to move guys, well, if you can't keep up with the freshmen in that, then you become very susceptible out on the flank. And your leverage being busted.
On 2nd and 5, Duggan scans the field, throws incomplete at the feet of Rager. 3rd and 5.
Yeah, that was Nick Benito that gets his hands up. You don't get home, you rush 5. And we saw Jalen Redmond earlier get his hands up, and you're going to see Nick Benito had the huge interception a week ago. And that time he could feel the passing lane and gets it up, knocks it down, and finally gets Sooners to a 3rd down situation where they were actually pretty good in the first half in this down and distance.
Yeah, stopped all 5 3rd down chances for TCU. It's converted its first 3rd down try in the second half. Play clock winding down as Duggan gives the last direction. On 3rd and 5 with a flag down, he's back to throw, trying to keep it alive. He steps into it, floating it out of bounds. Incomplete, but let's see what the flag is.
Offside. Defense number 6 was lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. We'll check if it's a first down after marking it off.
That's the corner, Trey Brown. There's no excuse for that.
No, and you know, you got a receiver off the ball there, but you've also then got to look down the line of scrimmage and simply come off. You can't be in the neutral zone as that side judge is looking right down the line at you.
And that makes it a first down.
Many times you can look over and that side judge will actually give you, or the headlines will give you a little help and say, hey man, you're in the neutral zone, back it off.
Instead of a punt, the offense stays out there. 1st and 10, 48-yard line. Duggan zips it. Rager able to squeeze it, working against Trey Brown, and here's Bruce.
Guys, about a month ago, Max Duggan really outshined another star Big 12 quarterback, Sam Ehlinger. And when you talk to Sonny Cumbie, he said the thing that really stands out about this kid, and he's been around a lot of big-time quarterbacks. Remember, he was at Tech when Baker Mayfield was a freshman there. He helped recruit Patrick Mahomes, and he said the thing that these guys all have is when you watch them, it's like they go full bore all the time, and there's a real drive and a competitiveness, and we're seeing that out here again tonight from Max Duggan.
Converted with the handoff to Alana Lua. Now floating it. Wants it all with Rager, but a little bit out of his reach. Brown in coverage. 2nd and 10.
Boy, and we've seen a couple things here from both Hurts and Duggan. As you see Brown coming up a little limp here, and that could bring the true freshman Jaden Davis into the game. But you've seen both quarterbacks on these shots right here. When your receivers win and they stack and get on top of that corner, just put air on the ball. Don't have to be perfect in that moment. There could be pass interference, especially as talented as C.D. Lamb or Jalen Rager are. Just give them an opportunity to help you out.
2nd down, 10. Alana Lua with a flag down.
I mean, the degree of difficulty sometimes, as I watch these dual threat quarterbacks, Joe, it's amazing what they can do.
Ball start, offense, number 62, 5-yard penalty. It's 2nd down.
And yet, to me, like, that's pretty simple. You got a one-on-one situation, and that was the senior David Bolasami, the right tackle, false starting. Right? I mean, that's simple. That's back to like 5th grade football. Man, I got a one-on-one, and my guy wins. Just put air. Just give him a chance to help you out. You just don't have to be perfect, especially with studs like Rager or C.D. Lamb on the other side.
It's one of the things they've tried to continue to hammer home with Max Duggan. You don't have to be perfect. You just got to be right. Intense, really hard on himself. Looking at 2nd and 15 here. In trouble, able to scramble free and get a few.
Oof, and he takes a shot, Joe. And there is very little sidelines here before you run right into the bench. Ooh. And that is awfully close here with Kenneth Murray and that little shove. And whether or not that shove was before quarterback goes out of bounds, you typically see QB's protected and that penalty flag come out.
Not here. 3rd and 12. Oklahoma rushes 4. Duggan in rhythm. Valence Hunt drops the ball. Had he caught it, would have been one-on-one with the undersized freshman Jaden Davis. but he drops it, and it's 4th and 12.
This is the sophomore's got to grow in this way. We saw him earlier, right? He bobbled it about 5 different times, and that's a young player that's got to learn, just like the freshman throwing it to him. You've got to just do the basics. You got to catch it first before you ever look to run. And a couple missed opportunities there by TCU that when you're playing in this building, and as good as these guys are, and if you don't take advantage of it, you typically don't find ways to win, especially in November.
Even if he doesn't pick up the first down, you're probably going to see a 4th down attempt. Instead, here comes Jordy Sandy. Lamb signals for the fair catch, and Oklahoma will have it at the 8.
Blemish season as Oregon is striving to do. It is hard.
Trying to get CeeDee Lamb to the edge. They do. He hits the sideline, and a big gain on first down to get him some breathing room. Speaking to that Arizona State-Oregon game, here's Amber Theo-Harris.
John, we have an upset brewing in the desert. Big trouble for number 6 Oregon, fighting for a playoff spot, but Arizona State's Jaden Daniels, the 26-yard touchdown pass to Frank Darby. 2-point conversion is good. It's 21-7 Sun Devils in the 4th, and right now, ASU is threatening again 3rd and goal. Joe and Brock.
Wow. Wow. So, of course, the hope for Oklahoma there would be that Oregon loses and then beats Utah in the conference championship game.
Both of them out.
Brooks straight ahead. Slips the tackle to Winters. Can't get away from Bradford.
You know, that Oregon team had showed so much poise this year. Unlike a year ago. A year ago they had a big win, and then they went to Wazoo and lost, and went to the desert and lost. And this year, well, they went up to Washington and won. They went to USC and won. But you just wondered, could they do it again? Wow, that's a brave soul right there here in Norman, Oklahoma.
Watching the game on his phone too, I think. They've been given updates on the stadium video board here. And the crowd cheering along with it as if it was the game in front of them. Brooks again, first down.
Yeah, this is a cool adjustment, man. And once again, it's why Gary Patterson and Lincoln Riley like going toe-to-toe with one another. TCU makes adjustments in the second quarter. Well, so can Lincoln Riley. And right now, Gary Patterson is watching 2 backs. These 2 backs that are really operating as lead blockers. And Lincoln Riley asks that of Kennedy Brooks. He asks that of Ramondre Stevenson, right? They're not listed as fullbacks, but they might as well be right now. And that extra body, that extra number is winning between the tackles.
Hurts keeping it, trying to make Bradford miss. But Bradford continues to play a good game. Sound open field tackling by the true freshman.
So what will TCU have to do? They will have to get those safeties up. In that case, a dime. You're going to have to put more bodies around the line of scrimmage, which ultimately leads you and leaves you more susceptible to a shot play that you know is going to be coming at some point off of all of this heavy run.
Yeah, 10 runs in a row, and you just get the feeling that it's setting something up. On a night where Jalen Hurts has been limited through the air, just 110 yards passing. That's a false start on Rambo.
False start. Offense, number 14. 5-yard penalty. It's 2nd down.
You think he was getting the ball?
I think he was open.
Dang. He's thinking, he's trying to get an extra little step. More than likely, that usually happens when guys know it's their opportunity.
Makes it 2nd and 16. Gary Patterson and the Horned Frogs staying in that 3 down front. Off play action. Hurts on the roll. Wide open. Lee Morris over the middle for a first down. 26 yards.
That is such a cool play, and this is a play that TCU actually calls sooner. That is a shallow cross. Gary was talking about it last night. He said, we know it's coming. We've actually named this route sooner, where they fake the shallow cross and then go vertical. And once again, takes advantage of the Horned Frogs, splitting that defense right down the middle.
Stevenson bottled up this time. Garrett Waddle in there with a tackle with D. Winters.
Gosh, it just feels like this is a big drive defensively, doesn't it? But Oklahoma kind of weathered that second quarter, and for Gary Patterson, he found a little bit of an adjustment, and then Oklahoma goes run, 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 run. Just right down your throat for a touchdown, and an undersized group defensively. I can't be on the field too long against a bigger, stronger offense.
This drive going on 3 minutes. The 6th play. is another run. Jalen Hurts makes Waddle miss. Gets pulled down by Parker Workman. 3rd and short for Oklahoma. Hurts has reached 100 yards rushing tonight. He's reached 1,000 yards rushing for the season tonight.
Gary still has enough voice to yell, it's coming this way.
They're down less than a yard. It's Brooks getting a 1st down.
What another good block by Ramondre Stevenson, 239-pound tailback. We'll put that hard hat on, man. If that's what it requires and that's what it takes to set Kennedy Brooks up and to set up Jalen Hurts and to set up this run game, whatever's asked of you, whatever role you need to play, step up and do it.
Oklahoma riding the ground game, trying to stem the tide with this charge from TCU. We go to the 4th and Norman, 28-17, Oklahoma. Trying to punch their ticket to the Big 12 championship game. Off play action. Hurts looking downfield. He'll tuck it and take off. And a hit from behind by Gladney, but not before he gets 9.
What is it? 14 of their last 15 now? Wow. Game gets close. Take a few punches from TCU. The young freshman carries some Sooners into the end zone. And here's a little statement of response that this is, you know, maybe not as much through the air, but this is a Bill Beatenbow kind of game. That is the O-line coach that loves to say he wants to feel the opponent's soul wilt. And it's both the linemen, it's the quarterback, and it's your running backs are making it happen.
Brooks has had a big night. He's got a 1st down here.
I mean, so often it's easy to look at the 5 linemen, and Creed Humphrey's a fun guy to watch, the center, number 56. They replaced everybody else around him. I got to tell you, the last 15 minutes of game action, it's been just as much about Jeremiah Hall, Ramondre Stevenson, Kennedy Brooks, all those guys coming right to the side of those 5 offensive linemen.
Such an O-lineman coach quote, feel your soul wilt. O-line coach or a D coordinator.
Yep.
Come from one of the two. 1st and 10 inside 14 minutes. TCU's got to look at this and say we've got to put our foot down and force a field goal, or else it becomes a 3-score game. That flutters and gets almost picked by D. Winters. That would have been even better for the Horned Frogs, as it was hit in the air by the freshman Mathis.
Wow. O'Shawn gets his hands up. And the true freshman, I told you, D. Winters was a receiver in high school, over 1,000 yards receiving. Can't believe the ball is up in the air, and he also can't believe he doesn't secure that takeaway.
Looked like a sure thing he was going to catch it. The question was, is he going to stay on his feet and score? But instead, Lincoln Riley and the Sooners avoid disaster there. Live to see 2nd and 10. Back to the ground. It's Brooks. Crunched at the 7 by Merrig. So 3rd down coming here, Brock.
Just listen to this shot. These Horned Frogs may be undersized, but they fly the ball.
3rd and 5.
Swapping some paint on those helmets, aren't they?
Lamb in motion. Timeout taken by Lincoln Riley, who is hot. He's upset there wasn't targeting called on Trayvon Merritt. He said, make the right call.
Yeah. I think Lincoln, and you heard the faithful here say the same thing. This is not a defenseless player, right? But is it the crown of the helmet there of number 7, Merrig?
I think he gets it to the side.
You think he uses his shoulder?
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
I think he does exactly what targeting is there to produce.
I think you're right, Joe. He tries his best he can to lead with that shoulder, not the crown of the helmet, huh, Dean?
That's exactly right. It's a runner, so it has to be crown of the helmet, initiating contact with the crown. You can see the defender come in, get his head to the side, lead with the shoulder. To me, this is not targeting.
Hey, Dean, you heard Lincoln Riley say there to that linesman, he led with his head. Does he have any case to be made there that he puts his head down and leads with the head?
That's one of the things the officials will look for. Does the defender lower the head? But again, when you're talking about contact on a runner, it has to be the crown. Now, if that were a defenseless player, then the contact with the shoulder to the head could be targeted.
All right, Dean, and so it looks like the officials got it right in real time. 3rd down 5 for Oklahoma. A field goal would keep the game at 2 scores. Touchdown would open it up here in the 4th.
See the emotion.
Joining Stogner and Hall. Hurts throws an interception. It's Vernon Scott. Scott with wheels. Vernon Scott across midfield. He's gonna go. A game-changing pick 6. First defensive touchdown of the season for the Horned Frogs, and it is 28-24 as the senior from Mansfield, Texas,
got the opportunity for the deep play.
So 4-point game as the Sooners get ready to get it again, and they'll have it from the 25-yard line.
Well, it was kind of a big play where the defender crossed the face and made that pick.
On the ground, Brooks. Good job by Corey Bethley. Bringing him down. No gain. Here's Bruce.
Guys, after that pick 6, Jalen Hurts stood on the sideline kind of shaking his head, really looked bewildered. And at one point, Lincoln Riley, right before they came back out, he put his hand in his chest and said, listen, that was my fault. Don't worry about it. That was my fault. So Lincoln Riley was the one taking accountability on that.
Well, I think Bruce running it, 14 to 15 times right down their throat. You get cued on a 1st down pass. It's tipped, nearly picked. You come back and throw it on that 3rd down, and yeah, I think there's a big alarm for those Horned Frogs that were all over C.D. Lamb on that route.
Empty set on 2nd and 10. Hurts is pressured despite just 3 rushing. Zips it for Rambo, and an Oklahoma 1st down. Sixth catch for Charleston Rambo, new career high for him.
You know, what's a pretty remarkable number, Joe, is this Sooner group has not lost in this month in 5 years. And it's drives like these, it's moments like these, and they've had a lot of them in their championship Novembers, that a little adversity hits. How are you going to respond? For 5+ years, you've responded the right way.
Brooks into the arms of Washington, finishes forward for 4.
And that's a lot of different guys, right? That's a lot of different quarterbacks and receivers and everybody. That is the culture of your place. I mean, that is extraordinary to go back to 2014, I believe, a game you called. If my memory serves me right, with the Baylor Bears, it's been a long, long time, and a lot of gutsy moments where your back's against the wall, where you have to overcome some negative plays, and this Sooner culture has done so.
They're kind of flipped around this week from last week when they dug out of the 28-3 hole. They led this one 21-0. Brooks with a jump cut, sticks the shoulder down and has a 1st down. And very quietly today, Brock, more than 140 yards for Kennedy Brooks.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of them just like that, where Ramondre Stevenson is ear-holing an extra TCU defender. Be it the DN Colt Ellison, be it the linebacker Garrett Wallow, these 2 backs are playing off one another really well. And again, to me, just speaks to that culture that you got to be willing, if you're going to tote it, you got to be willing to block as well, and these backs doing so.
Brooks leaves. Stevenson comes on, doing some of that selfless work, blocking. Here he earns a carry. And gets 3. Trayvon Merrick, the tackle.
This is where you also got to hope, if you're Bill Beatonbow, you're in the ear of Lincoln Riley a little bit, like, hey, man, keep leaning into us. Like all of these body blows, all of these runs, and tell me that doesn't look like the perfect O-line coach. I mean, you draw up an O-line coach, and Creed Humphrey is probably the perfect center that fits it. And if you're those guys right now, you're saying, put this game on me, man. I got a freshman linebacker, a redshirt freshman. I got young guys. And all of these body blows that you've thrown over the course of 50 minutes, you want to go finish out the knockout.
49 of the 70 plays tonight runs for Oklahoma. Here's another with Hurts. Waits for the hole to develop and sets up 3rd and short. Ardarius Washington, another TCU tackle. That is his 12th. Third down and a long one for Oklahoma. 9:20 left to go in a 4-point game.
Here comes that 2-back look once again. It has been so heavy run here in the second half for the Sooners.
Hurts keeps it. A first down to the 40. So you've got both Brooks and Hurts, 22 carries tonight.
Look at Ramondre Stevenson. I've said his name about 8 different times. Watch this collision. Bam! I mean, that is leading the way. That is what we call in the old school ISO. Right? That's an ISO run. That could be Tom Rathman back in the day playing fullback. Put a 44 on him, and you lead right into that middle linebacker and allow your quarterback to run right behind you.
And no slouch that he's blocking there. That's the second leading tackler in the conference, and Garrett Wallow. Wallow this time finishes the job on Brooks. Inside 8.5, second down coming up.
Look at these guys. I mean, you're giving up 20, 30 pounds. Right, Garrett Wallow's a converted safety that is so athletic. Ardarius Washington is 170 pounds. These are the guys that are coming up time and time. Nook Bradford's a true freshman that is having to take on this contact.
You wonder how long they can last. I mean, they've been out there a lot. Hurts cuts it upfield. Got a first down. Makes a man miss. Breaking ankles and setting up 1st and goal. The ball came out. Now a signal. Was the ball out before he was down? The officials still haven't given an official signal. TCU thinks the ball was out before he was down. Nook Bradford, did he get it out of there? Boy, it is going to be close. The key thing is going to be, what is the official call on the field? We're still waiting on that.
Ruling on the field was a fumble recovered by the defense. First down TCU. That ruling of a fumble is under review.
And the true freshman quarterback, Max Duggan, on 1st and 10, runs the option. Gets it off to Anderson, who's pushed out by Murray.
Let me just say, that play by Nook Bradford, I don't want just like let it pass.
Yeah.
All the time we spend, fumble or no fumble. As a true freshman, that was an unbelievable play against a Heisman contending senior quarterback for Nook Bradford to go rip it away and to give yet another true freshman an opportunity to respond. Wow.
The play clock winding down. They're going to have to burn a timeout. Well, there's not been a timeout used, but not been a delay of game called either. Not sure exactly what's going on here. Okay, so we're being told there are problems with the chains. So delay a game on the chains. Everybody else, you're good. 2nd and 10. Duggan takes off and got pulled down. It was Ronnie Perkins when Oklahoma needed him last week late making plays, and he makes one here to make it 3rd down.
This place coming alive. This is the loudest we've heard it 2 times we've been here.
Well, 2 weeks ago, this place was half empty when they needed it down the stretch against Iowa State. Lincoln Riley said something about that this week, that they're a different team when they have this place full-throated behind them. They do here. On 3rd and 10 against a 3-man rush. Duggan with time. He'll check it down. Alana Lua juggles and drops it incomplete.
Do your job, only your job, and you cut it loose. And Alex Grinch now in a third and extra long just rushes three. This is the right play by the true freshman. Olanolu is going to have to break that tackle he can feel. Both Radley Hiles and Kenneth Murray converging on him, never completes the catch, and what a response by an Oklahoma defense to get a critical 3 and out.
So Sandy has to punt out of his own end zone. CeeDee Lamb back around midfield waiting on him. Oklahoma sets up a return for the dangerous number 2, retreating to his own 40. Lamb can't get away. That's another freshman in Travius Hodges-Tomlinson. Jalen Hurts trying to overcome a couple of more turnovers. His Sooners up 4, 6:34 left. Got it at their own 37. It's Hurts. He will run. Waited until the last moment to make that decision, and ultimately got a dozen near midfield.
And I'm going to guess you're going to say over the final 6 minutes, he's going to run. He's going to run. He's going to run, and he's going to run some more because I think that's what they do best.
I said a dozen, but because he's spotted where the slide began, it's just 9.
And whether that's Brooks, whether that's Hurts, whether that's going to be Stevenson, I think Gary Patterson knows what's coming here down the stretch, and it's what's been coming really the last 2 quarters, and that's a lot of run game.
More of it here, Stevenson powering through Otto. First down at midfield.
There's not many games you win when you're -3 in the turnover ratio. There's not many teams in the history of college football, I'm going to imagine, that are on the brink of being 10-1 with a -8 turnover differential on the season, overcoming an awful lot of mistakes.
Oklahoma's run 36 more plays than TCU tonight.
You see the communication with Stevenson, 29, with the O-line, communicating who he's going to block.
Brooks couldn't find much of a hole. Parker Workman tackles him. Clock winding near 5:20. Second down coming here. TCU trying to do the unthinkable. Their true freshman quarterback Max Duggan hoping for another opportunity as they look for their first top 10 road win since 2011 before they joined the Big 12 when they beat 5th-ranked Boise State.
Look at all those Horned Frogs near the line of scrimmage.
On 2nd and 5, it is Hurts getting the block from Brooks. 3rd down 5 coming up as Wyatt Harris gets the tackle.
This is enormous. That's about 2 minutes of time of possession. If the best 3rd down offense in America can find a way to stay on the field right now, or you start to force Gary Patterson to think about using these.
6 of 11 on 3rd down so far tonight. 3rd and 5 for the Sooners.
Just a 3-man front.
And just 3 to snap it. They get it off. Can Hurts make a play against the blitz? Not going to get there. 4th down and 1. What are you doing if you're Lincoln Riley?
Going.
He sends the bigger running back, Ramondre Stevenson, back in there. And he will go for it inside 4 minutes on 4th down and 1.
I'll tell you what else I wouldn't be against is that hard clap. Right? You don't have the cadence. This is a clap cadence. It looks like they're going to take the clock all the way down. They have a little more time to make this decision, but I think this is go zone.
There's a timeout. 3:20 left to go, and 4th and 1 on the other side of this break. Both Brooks and Stevenson back there with Jalen Hurts. It's Stevenson powering his legs. It'll depend on the spot. He needed just shy of the 40.
And he ran smack dab unblocked into the 2 middle linebackers.
The ball with a chance to win this game. 3:16 left to go. Oklahoma shows pressure and brings it against the freshman Duggan. Tries to beat it. One-on-one. Over the top and incomplete, but a flag. Wanted Jalen Reagor. Parnell Motley grabbed the hold of him, and he'll get flagged.
And I'll tell you what, Joe Davis, I would throw that guy 3 more times. My best player, Jalen Reagor.
Pass interference. Defense, number 11. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Oklahoma is a base, what you call quarters team, which really leaves those corners out on an island in a one-on-one situation, and I'm going at him. And you can see it all the way. And he's grabbing his arm. He impedes Reagor's opportunity. You can hand fight, but you hold on like that while falling down, you're going to draw that 15-yard penalty.
The Sooners have seen this movie before, but they were on the other side of it last week in Waco. The biggest comeback win in program history, from down 28-3 to win 34-31. They led this game 21-0. Penalty moves it to the 44. Option play. Duggan into the arms of Neville Gallimore. He lost a yard.
Yeah, you get so many bites at the apple here, right? There's only so many number of plays in the final 3 minutes. I want my one-on-ones outside. I want to attack a true freshman corner in Jaden Davis. If I'm Sonny Cumbie and could get in his ear, I want my freshman quarterback in those one-on-ones on the perimeter to take my chances there rather than running at Neville Gallimore or those guys inside.
The slant, it's Hunt. Had a couple of drops tonight. Hangs on to this one. 3rd down, 2:22 and counting.
Who's going to win their one-on-one battles? The ultimate team game is going to come down to these one-on-one situations.
3rd and 6. Duggan back to throw. He's flushed out of the pocket. He's in trouble. Lets it go incomplete. 4th and 6 with 1:47.
Yeah, and Reagor is clamoring for a penalty. He is jumping up and down. He wants a hold on his comeback route here. One-on-one against Motley. Is he deserving of the call? I don't think so. Some contact, got to let him play in that moment.
4th and 6. Can the freshman make a play? He's given time. That ball is intercepted by Radley Hiles.
Mookie!
With 1:41 left. The Horned Frogs all 3 timeouts. But Radley Hiles coming up with the interception at right about the same spot of the field that they picked off Charlie Brewer late last week.
Giving up about 6 inches on Pearl Wells, the wide receiver. Right in the middle here. This is the matchup TCU wants. Max is just a tad late. The ball's going to be out sooner. It's a little late, and it allows Radley Hiles to make the play of his career as a Sooner. Just the 2nd pick in 2 years for the former 5-star recruit who has taken a ton of heat, and Max knew it. The minute he was just a whisper late, allowed Radley Hiles to change some of the narrative about his season this year as he comes through in the clutch.
You saw Wyatt Harris going over there saying to Max Duggan, keep your head up. We're going to try and get you another shot here.
They got all 3 timeouts. What a valuable learning lesson, man. This place is rocking, right? We talk about anticipation for quarterbacks of getting the ball out just a hair late. Radley Hiles makes them pay.
1st down run for Brooks. Garrett Patterson will use the first of those 3 timeouts.
Wow.
Our Pacific Life game summary. It was 21-0 Oklahoma, and I mean, it looked like this was going to get ugly, Brock, but it turned around. TCU came charging back in, and really in earnest thanks to the takeaways.
Oh, here was the big touchdown pass. Hurts adds 4 more touchdowns to his resume. And you're right. I mean, it was easy. And then all of a sudden, a little bit of life for TCU. Duggan gets the long run, the touchdown. Balalua. Max Duggan carries 2, 3, 4 Sooners into the end zone. And you can feel this building and the temperature start to change. So Lincoln Riley says, enough's enough. We're going to run it and run it again. So 80% of the time, they have been running the ball on the ground. But what's the great equalizer? The takeaway. 3 of them for TCU tonight. And then ultimately, Oklahoma, who's been starving for takeaways, got 2 in Waco that changed the outcome of that game. And I said to you, who's going to make the one-on-one play? Ultimately, their system, they play a lot of one-on-one. Who's going to make the play? And it was the guy they call Buki that takes it away from the freshman Duggan.
2nd down. Hurts keeps it. Waited for it to develop. Lowered the shoulder and got close. Harris and Washington combining the tackle. TCU uses its 2nd timeout. It'll be 3rd and 1. Back in 30 seconds. There have been plenty to go around on the ground. 61 of the 82 plays for Oklahoma tonight have been runs.
He had 81 rushes coming into this game. 8 rushes a game. And he tripled that workload tonight.
3rd down 1. All but sealed the deal by picking up a yard right here.
This got to be in number 1's hand. Period. End of story.
Running back in there with him is Ramondre Stevenson. It is Hurts. He's stacked up initially and not going to get it. TCU uses its final timeout. 20 consecutive games of 34+ for the Sooners. As it stands right now, 28 would be enough. The review goes on. We've had some long reviews because we've had some really close calls.
I'd like to put a clock on the review. I would love to see that come in the years to come. If you can ever just, I want the guys on the field to get it right, spend as much time as they did on that fumble from Jalen.
But then you're saying put a time limit?
Yes, because if it is taking you this long, right, then how conclusive can you be? Unless they're trying to put it back a half yard and then they got to look at time on the clock. And I don't know, if I'm in that replay booth, I'm moving that ball back. I'm not putting it at the 42-yard line.
After reviewing the play, ruling of a 1st down stands as called.
Just not enough there to change it. And Oklahoma's a minute 18 away from a trip to the Big 12 championship.
I think there's a whole lot of folks that just went like this, including number 1 right there. Yeah, I don't think he was buying that one for a second.
So Hurts takes an knee. I mean, look, the conversation shifts back to Oklahoma in the college football playoff picture. They're going to get something they desperately needed tonight. That is a loss from one of the Pac-12 teams. Oregon falls 31-28 to Arizona State. So they continue to hope that they take them next week. Big 12 championship against Baylor after, and then there'll be huge Oregon fans against Utah.
And you're going to put them ahead of a 2-loss Penn State, so they're going to climb up to 7 in the polls.
The road ahead, sponsored by Coors Light, made to chill, celebrate responsibly. Then they need the top 3 teams right now, all unbeaten, to stay that way. The big one being they need LSU to win the SEC championship, keep Georgia out of the picture. 28-24, looked like was going to be a runaway victory for Lincoln Riley and the Sooners. Turns into a tight one, 28-24, but they will head back to the Big 12 championship.
2 men that got an awful lot of respect. One's an offensive guy, one's a defensive guy, and that might as well have been an old school game here. Played Norman some 50 years ago with that Sooner brand of football.
Bruce Feldman has Lincoln Riley.
All right, Coach, we know about how great this offense has been the last few years. You got some big stops in the 4th quarter from your defense. What do you say about how that group responded tonight?
They did. I mean, held TCU to 200 yards, made up for some of our offensive turnovers. We took care of each other as a team. We didn't play perfect, but the sides of the ball stepped up when they needed to, especially our defense there in the end.
You had told me how critical it was going to be in the second half to win the turnover battle. What do you make of how this played out?
Yeah, disappointing because they were all on promising drives. All 3 turnovers. turnovers were, and certainly were kind of what made this thing close. But that's the game. Give TCU credit and give our kids credit for overcoming it.
This is like the third or fourth week in a row. You guys have had wild roller coaster rides. What did you learn about these guys?
Yeah, it's a Big 12, man. The league's really good this year. We're finding a way to win tough games. We're going to try to keep on winning.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Guys?
All right, 16th consecutive home win, and as you saw, the 400th in the stadium's history back to 1923. Sooners are 10-1. They're 7-1 in the conference. They're headed back to the conference championship game. More to come here in Norman. The other side of this break on Fox.